This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. First, the headlines. Governor Fubara faults oil licensed operators over oil theft. Police force spokesperson speaks on phone call. Sarab gives Tinubu 48 hours to reverse ban on 25 media outfits. New Minister Adelabu exposes cartels against power. Nangawa is new president for third term in Zimbabwe. Sarah Martins asked for forgiveness for Tume Edochie. Messi indicted over punishment after Inter Miami's 2-0 win. Thank you for staying with us on the Global News tonight. Here is our bulletin in full. River State Governor Fubara Simnalaye has faulted the federal government delegation on the security of oil and gas assets led by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, who visited him at the government house in Port Harcourt, the state capital. This is coming after in August 2022, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Melekiari, had justified the government's decision to award a multi-billion naira pipeline surveillance contract to Tantitia Security Services led by former militant leader government Ekwemepulo, a.k.a. John Polo. Though the River State governor did not mention any name, he said the strategy of the federal government won't yield the expected results as an individual cannot have control over the assets in another's territory. He decried the neglect of the state by the federal government, called on the delegation to ensure that the outcome of their task would be beneficial to both the federal and the state government. He advised them to engage the people at the grassroots to better appreciate the situation in the Niger Delta area, why security of pipelines should not be given to one man or one person and must look at bringing all the key people in the various communities. Fubara also said that River State waged River State wages a strong war against illegal refining of crude oil under the leadership of the immediate past governor, Nyesom Wike, and that his administration would lower the bar and does not think that the Niger Delta is benefiting as much as it should compared to its contribution to the national economy. On his part, the NSA said the delegation is billed to visit rivers and other Niger Delta states with a marching order from President Bola Tinubu to end crude oil theft and illegal refining of petroleum products, while the delegation with NSA were the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Wabin Musa, and the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Reid Lagoja. We'll take a short break and we'll be back to you on the Global News. welcome back to the Global News. Bayelsa State Governor Doye has imposed a dusk to dawn curfew on Opunembe following a crisis that rocked the communities. The governor, in a closed-door meeting with members of the Security Council in the state, also dissolved all the youth and chieftaincy councils in Opunembe. He said that for the commencement of the closed-door security meeting, the governor spoke on efforts made by his administration to maintain peace in Bayelsa State for over 3 years since his assumption of office, adding that the special advisor to the governor on security, Akwebi Agberebi, disclosed this on the resolutions reached. He also told journalists before the commencement of the closed-door security meeting that the governor spoke on efforts made by his administration to maintain peace in Bayelsa State for over 3 years since his assumption of office. The special advisor to the governor on security, Akwebi Agberebi, briefed reporters on the resolutions reached. Security Council for that called on the Inspector General of Police, to withdraw the special weapons and tactics team sent to Opunembe and allow the joint security agents in the states to quell the crisis. The federal government oil theft situation assessment delegation to the Niger Delta region has confirmed the tour of states in the region. This is coming after an oil theft situation assessment delegation deployed in the Niger Delta by President Bola Tinubu discovered an illegal oil connection, adding that from the illegal connection discovered at Owoza in Abia State, Nigeria loses an average of $7.2 million monthly by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. It added that clandestine refineries, illegal bunkering operations, and environmental devastation the team saw collectively translated into severe economic losses for the nation, while the delegation led by the Minister of Defense, Malam Mohammed Badaru, has told service chiefs and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources in Oil, Senator Heineken Lokboberi, as members. Other members are the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and Gas, Mr. Kwarikbe Ekbum, while the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Badu, and the Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPC Limited, Malam Melekiari, as well as the team, Commander of Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral Olusegun Ferreira, operatives of the security agencies and chief executive officers of the regulatory agencies in the oil and gas sector. Also speaking at the side, Chief Security Officer of Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, Mr. Patrick Godwin, said some arrests had been made and a culprit arraigned. The Ogun State Police Commander have arrested Babatunde Kolawole, a self-proclaimed native doctor, for being in possession of a fresh milk corpse. Police spokesperson disclosed the arrest on Sunday, stating that the Ametokun Corps had initially apprehended the suspect. According to the police statement, SP Omolala Odutola, who said the Divisional Police Officer of Ota Police Station, CSP Saleh Dahiru, has received the report and taken into custody one Babatunde Kolawole, who was caught by members of the Ametokun Corps in Odo Ota with a fresh male human corpse. He added that preliminary investigations have commenced, and although the suspects did not deny the incident, he claims to be a native doctor who was attempting to revive the deceased. However, it remains unclear how the suspect obtained the fresh corpse during the late hours of the night, while the more information on the case, and the corpse was transported to the Ifo General Hospital for an autopsy. The Sango Ota Divisional Police Officer is urging members of the community to provide any useful information related to the incident by volunteering information, adding that the community members can assist the police in their investigation and help shed light on this disturbing occurrence. Police in Ogun State has nabbed a taxi driver and his gang for allegedly dispossessing unsuspecting passengers of their belongings in Abeokuta. The Sosafe calls in Ogun State arrested the taxi driver identified as Kehinde Ogunlate and some of his accomplices with whom he had robbed passengers of their money, phones and other items in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The state commander of the corps, Soji Ogonzalo, through a statement by corps spokesman Moruf Yusuf, said officers of the corps routine patrol acting on intelligence gathered that one of the drivers who has been robbing passengers with his gang members was sighted in an area in Abeokuta, adding that the officers of the corps were charged to go after them and swung into action immediately, stressing that they traced the culprit and discovered that they had just robbed some passengers of their belongings. Gonzalo noted that the one chance robber and the rest of the suspected gang members initially escaped arrest, but were later apprehended at Itoko, Ita, Maureen, and Adedotunu areas of the state capital, while the court commanders said the suspects and the exhibits recovered from them had been transferred to the SWAT office of the Nigerian Police Force in Magban, Abeokuta, for further investigation and likely prosecution. Police in Benue State has arrested suspected Ando Hemba Joseph in Makadi in connection with the demise of Justice Margaret Ibeta, a retired president of the state customary court of appeal. This is coming following concerns about Justice Ibeta's whereabouts, launched an investigation and discovered the judge in her kitchen surrounded by her own blood and bearing deep cuts on her back, while the spokesperson for the Benue Police Command, SP Sewuse Anene, officially confirmed the arrest of the suspect in retaliation in relation to the passing of 73-year-old Justice Ibeta. In a statement, she added that Justice Ibeta, who retired from her position on October 17, 2015, was known for leading a private life and rarely appearing in public. The Makadi said the judiciary comprises Justice Margaret Ibeta, retired, who was unresponsive to calls and her whereabouts were unknown, adding that detectives were promptly dispatched for an investigation. The judiciary also, during a search of her residence on Wanto Kwange Street, Boko Road, Makadi, her lifeless, but it was discovered in her kitchen where it was surrounded by blood after sustaining deep cuts on her back. The investigation led to the arrest of one Ando Hemba Joseph, along with the recovery of evidence for thorough examination, while the State Commissioner of Police, Bartolomeo Onyeka, was quoted in the statement condemning the heinous act, adding that he has pledged to uncover the truth behind the incident and ensure those responsible for these barbaric acts face justice. Kaduna State governments led by Senator Obasani have endorsed a downward review of school fees for all tertiary institutions in the state. This is coming after he encouraged student enrollment and cushion on the effects of rising cost of living, stressing that it is also in line with Governor Obasani's campaign in promising to ensure accessible education and highlighted in the sustained Kaduna agenda. While addressing newsmen, the Governor Obasani said human capital development is a key factor in his sustained agenda towards building a strong and viable economy in the state.
Pillar of our administration, and that is the reason why, looking at the importance of education in our own state, we believe the greatest leveler is education. So we believe it is the responsibility of government to ensure that every child in Kaduna State have education from primary school to secondary school, where it's free. But we also realize that we're facing some challenges at the level of tertiary education, where a lot of people cannot afford to pay the fees. With this downward review, that will encourage more of our students to go to our own university here in Kaduna and some of the schools within Kaduna State, and at the same time that will also help them to study the courses of their choices. As you are also aware, we have other courses like medicine, pharmacy, and other computer studies and other sciences related courses that those that are studying those courses have automatic scholarship. Pillar of our administration, and that is the reason why, looking at
it is responding to the public outcry over the current fees being charged by tertiary institutions in Kaduna State and its effect on school enrollment and retention.
That to reverse the trend mentioned, it is imperative that a competitive fees model should be adopted in our tertiary institutions. that the competitive fees model responds to current realities and promote access to quality education. As a caring, responsive, and responsible government, we have accepted the recommendations and accordingly reviewed the fees downward as follows. Kaduna State University, current fees, 150,000. Reduction, 30%. New fees, 105,000. New Bamali Polytechnic, current fees, 100,000. Reduction, 50%. New fees, 50,000. College of Education, Gidanwaya, current fee, 75,000. Reduction, 50,000. New fee, reduction, 50%. New fees, 35,000, 37,500. Shehu Idris College of Health Science and Technology, Magharibi, HND courses, current fee, 100,000. Reduction, 30%. New fee, 70,000. ND courses, current fee, 75,000. Reduction, 30%. New fee, 52,000. Kaduna State College of Nursing, current fee, 100,000. Reduction, 30,000, 30%. New fee, 70,000. This downward review of the Eastern fees regime aligns with our commitment to offer palliatives to cushion the effects of the general rising cost of living in the polity.
Chieftain of PDP in Abuja, Chief Victor Bala Kona, is dead. Statement from the party said Bala Kona died in the early hours of Sunday, August 27, 2023, in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The deceased was the immediate past chairman of PDP in Taraba State. While confirming his demise, the acting chairman of the party, Alhaji Inuwa Bakari, said Bala Kona died after a protracted illness and was revealed that the former chairman was earlier flown abroad for treatment but was recently flown back to Nigeria, where he finally gave up the ghost. Describing his demise as a rude shock to the party, he said further that the burial arrangements would be made public after due consultation with the family, while praying for his soul to remain in the bosom of the Lord. National Chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, has inaugurated the replacements for Kogi State in the National Working Committee. This is coming after the former APC deputy spokesperson, Murtala Ajaka, resigned from the party to pursue his gubernatorial ambition in the forthcoming Kogi election. Adding that, the leadership of the ruling party had named Duro Meseko and Ekane Shuaibu Okolo as the Deputy National Publicity Secretary and Zonal Organizing Secretary of the North Central Zonal Chapter of the party, respectively. But the APC leadership in Kogi rejected Meseko and Okolo's nominations, as saying that it had ratified Yahaya Ade Ismail as the new Deputy National Publicity Secretary and Ishaka Musa as the Zonal Organizing Secretary, while the state chapter claimed that the names of the officers unanimously agreed upon and sent to the National Party Secretariat were discarded for unknown reason, unknown persons in Weseko and Okolo. First Public Relations Officer ACP Olumoyiwa Adejobi is condemning the trend of police officers calling suspects on the phone to report themselves at police stations. This is coming after the Nigerian Police Force said it is unprofessional for police officers to be calling suspects on the phone to report themselves at police stations. The First Public Relations Officer, ACP Olumoyiwa Adejobi, said this while condemning the trend of police officers calling suspects on the phone to report themselves at police stations, while responding to a question by a Twitter user on whether it is proper to accept calls from police officers that claim matters that are reported to them and threaten someone to come. While responding to the question, Adejobi described the trend as unprofessional, saying that calling suspects on the phone was strange to the police, stressing that a suspect could either be invited through writing or arrested. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break. One minute. Mr. Frank, good evening. Back to the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Here is the rest of our stories. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has issued a 48-hour ultimatum to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reverse the ban of 25 media outfits from Aso Rock. Sarab Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare disclosed this in a statement on Sunday. This is coming after the socio-economic group was reacting to the withdrawal of 25 journalists' accreditation from covering the activities of the president, adding that the ban includes journalists from Vanguard, Galaxy TV, Ben TV, MITV, ITV, Abuja, Prompt News on TV, and Liberty TV. Sarab urged Tinubu to publicly instruct officials at the presidential villa to reverse the ban, adding that media freedom is a cornerstone of Nigeria's democracy, and insisted that the ban on the media must be lifted in order to ensure accountability and maintain public interest, as well as respect for values in the society. Sarab also noted that it shall consider appropriate legal action to compel the government to comply with the request in the public interest. And here is the business news for tonight. Adebayo Adelabu, the Minister of Power, has opened the prominent presence of cartels and cabals within Nigeria's power sector while assuring that these challenges would be addressed professionally. Adelabu disclosing that making statements Adelabu disclosed this while making statements at a reception organized in his honor by the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, stating that these factors hinder the sector's optimal performance. During the event, Adelabu acknowledged the power sector's crucial role in the country's economic growth, and noting that its underperformance has led to the significant criticism from end users, while stressing the importance of resolving the challenges facing the sector as it affects both the manufacturing sector, including small and medium-scale entrepreneurs and households which depend on electricity for their economic survival. While acknowledging the influence of cartels and cabals obstructing the sector's progress, Adelabu pledged to collaborate with relevant stakeholders, including the Central Council of Ibadan Indigenes, to ensure his successful tenure as Minister of Power, and emphasized the need to put aside political differences and work unitedly for the greater good of the country. You're still watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Up next, international tidbits. The Electoral Commission in Zimbabwe Electoral Commission says Mnangagwa polled 52.6% of the votes cast, nicknamed the crocodile for his ruthlessness. Mnangagwa is Zimbabwe's third president. He became leader after a 2007 coup that ousted Robert Mugabe, who had ruled the Southern African nation 37 years. According to ZEC, the candidate of the Citizens Coalition for Change, Nelson Chamisa, secured 44% of the votes, while Mnangagwa received more than 22.3 million votes. And Chamisa garnered 1.9 million. The Constitutional Court has upheld the results of the election and made claims of rigging from the opposition. Promise Nkwanananzi, a spokesman for the Chamisa's Citizens Coalition for Change, added that the party had not signed the final tally, which he described as false. Navy SEAL who shot dead Osama bin Laden has been arrested in Texas, United States, on charges of assault and intoxication. Robert J. O'Neill, 47, who has taken credit for firing the shot that killed the former Al-Qaeda leader in a 2010 raid, was detained in Frisco, where he had been recording a podcast at a cigar lounge. Details of the incident have not been disclosed, but records show he was booked into jail in Collin County and released on $3,500 bond, while police said he faced a Class A misdemeanor charge of assault causing bodily injury and a Class C misdemeanor charge of public charge. While the case is not O'Neill's first run-in with the law since he rose to fame for his role in Operation Neptune Spear to kill bin Laden. This is coming after in 2016, he was arrested in Montana for drink driving, but prosecutors later dropped the charges. And in May, O'Neill expressed outrage at the U.S. Navy using a drag queen for a discarded recruitment program. O'Neill, who served for 8 years as a member of SEAL Team 6, said on Twitter he can't believe he fought for this while the U.S. Navy is now using an enlisted sailor drag queen as a recruit. Royal Thai police have arrested a 45-year-old Nigerian man and 13 Thais for operating a covert romance scam. The Nigerian national, identified as Ezeneche Uzochukwu Jerome, is his Thai girlfriend and other suspects following police operations across even 7 provinces. According to the police, the scam operation managed to deceive hundreds of victims across Thailand out of over 8,000 million baht in the past 4 years. The Commissioner of Crime Suppression Division, Montri Tatakan, in a statement explained that the victims filed a complaint against a romance scam gang at the beginning of 2022, adding that victims revealed to officers that the scammers used profiles of attractive foreign women to approach them on social media. The scammers informed them that they were American soldiers performing duties in Syria, adding that after gaining the trust of the victims, they would express their desire to come to Thailand to see the victims. Here is entertainment news for tonight. In view of her interference in actor Yul Edochie's second marriage saga, Nollywood actress Sarah Martins has asked for forgiveness to all affected parties in the Edochie family. This is coming hours after Sarah engaged in a public dispute with veteran actress Rita Edochie. This is following an Instagram live section that Sarah attributed the reason behind her apology to her peace of mind and sanity. Sharing the video after her season with Daddy Freeze on Instagram page, she wrote that she wanted her sanity and peace of mind, therefore no longer wants to be part of the Edochie family drama on her lane henceforth. Veteran Nollywood actor Chinedu Ikedeze, a.k.a. Aki, has said that apart from piracy, hoodlums and lack of government support are the major challenges confronting the Nigerian film industry. He said, hoodlums often invade movie locations to other filmmakers to pay a certain amount of money before they are allowed to shoot. He said in addition to that, the government also finds it difficult to release their parastatals for filmmakers to shoot. The 45-year-old thespian disclosed this in a recent interview. Wife of Hollywood comedian and TV show host Steve Harvey has allegedly secured apologies for that. Here is the sports news. Inter Miami superstar Lionel Messi is facing punishment following his MLS debut for the club. Messi scored the second goal as they beat New York Bulls 2-0 on Saturday night, but the World Cup winner did not speak with reporters after that game. The 36-year-old could not find himself in hot water as a result, with MLS rules dictating that players have the end of the games. The division's executive vice president of communications, Dan Countermanche, had confirmed as much prior to a ball being kicked in New York. Plateau United head coach Mangot Boaz says the team is optimistic to have a positive outing in the Nigerian Professional Football League next season. The Peace Boys missed out on the title last season despite a strong showing, while Plateau United were unbeaten in a pre-season tournament in Bauchi recently. Boaz claimed that his team would strive to improve before the start of the new campaign. The new season will begin on September 8 to 10. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Governor Fubara faults oil licensed operators over oil theft. Police force spokesperson speaks on phone call. Sarab gives Tinubu 48 hours to reverse ban on 25 media outfits. New Minister Adelabu exposes cartels against power. Nangawa is new president for third term in Zimbabwe. Sarah Martins asked for forgiveness to May Edochie. Messi indicted over punishment after Inter Miami's 2-0 win. I'm Vivian Douglas. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on the social media pages. On X, we're Atlantic TV Net. On Facebook and YouTube, we're Atlantic Television Network. On Instagram and TikTok, we're Atlantic TV Network 1. Do remember that peace and unity are the pathway to progress. Good night.